What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today's video, we're going to be talking about New Japan Pro Wrestling. And of New Japan Pro Wrestling, we're going to be talking about their Battle in the Valley show that came on the same exact day as Elimination Chamber. So when Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn were doing battle, this show was just starting. This show lasted for about 3 hours and 55 minutes, I want to say. So it was a pretty match card. I don't know how many matches were on here, but I know it was a ton of matches. But we're going to focus on 3 main matches of the entire show and 3 of the best matches, I believe, on the entire show. I'm going to give a shout out to Zack Sabre Jr. and Connor Clark. I think that's his name. They had a good match. I just think the fans really only cared about these 3 matches specifically when it comes to this show. I kind of felt that by watching the show. Like, you can tell by at least just the energy in the crowd and shit that they only really cared for these 3 matches. These 3 matches being Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. The loser will never be able to work in New Japan again. And the 2 respective IWGP Championship matches. First, with the World Heavyweight Championship, Okada defended his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Hiroshi Tanahashi. And we have Kairi defending her IWGP Women's Championship against Mercedes Mone, formerly known as Sasha Banks, who most of you may know her as. These were 3 outstanding matches. And I'm going to be focusing on these 3 main matches when it comes to this review. So, I would say go ahead and buy the pay-per-view. It's only $20 on Fight TV. That's where you can find it. I'm pretty sure if you have New Japan World subscription, sometime within like the next week or so, they will probably drop it on there. Because I've seen it on there. That's where I was initially going to watch the show on, was New Japan Pro World. But it was bugging out, so I couldn't really watch it. So I had to go to Fight TV to pay the $20 amount in order to watch it. But I would say pay it if it's only worth $20. You can't go wrong with it. You had the Motor City Machine Guns on this card. You had Kenta on this card. You had Zack Sabre Jr. And you had these 3 matches here that I'm going to be discussing mainly when it comes to this review. So let's get started with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship match between Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So when it comes to Okada and Tanahashi, this has been Okada's probably greatest rival since he's been in New Japan. Since I think Tanahashi was the one Okada beat for the championship. So they have a long history going back at least 10 years now. It has to be 10 years plus by now. But this match wasn't their greatest match, their greatest showing that they've had in the ring against one another. You have to go to most of their old matches. This wasn't a bad match per se, but it definitely wasn't as good as their other matches. And I didn't know this was like the first match they ever had in the States. That really shocked me. I would have thought that as much as time as they worked together, that this would have not have been their first match in the US. But it was. It was kind of slow at points in the match, but it's Okada and Tanahashi, so I don't really put points towards that. So it's like, I don't really care. It's fine. I was just enjoying Okada versus Tanahashi. Okada hit the Rainmaker, and he retained the title on Tanahashi. And after the match, he talked about building a dream team with Tanahashi that they can both go after the IWGP Championships, the Tag Team Championships. And this brought out Mercedes Mone. We're going to go back to this point once we get back toward the end of the review. But let's go to the next match. The next match, and I think this was the second best match when it comes to these 3. And we're going to talk about the grudge match between Eddie Kingston and Jay White. Now, I am a huge Jay White fan. He made his debut in 2016, 2017, around that time. I've been a fan ever since. The Switchblade, cool character. I like his attires are pretty cool. And I'm watching every step. Every chance I can get, I'll watch him. Last time I saw him was at Forbidden Door in June last year. But I keep up tabs on him when I can from time to time. But this match with Eddie Kingston was harking to New Japan style. This was a very traditional strong style hitting matchup. These two guys at one point were showing bruises, everything, particularly Jay White, man. Jay White had a busted lip early on in the match. And then later on in the match, his fucking left eye was swollen. It was just like a brutal strong style match, what you typically see when watching New Japan matches. Eddie Kingston controlled the majority of the match. He was just unloading with a barrage of chops, bat fist. He was doing his machine gun chops. You can actually see the bruises on Jay White's chest from when Eddie Kingston was chopping him so much with the machine gun chops in the corner and just chops in general. Jay White was trying to trade chop to a Kingston in the match, but it wasn't working at all. It was one chop that he landed that didn't sound great, and the crowd let Jay White know how shitty the chop was, and they started booing him. But him and Kingston were going back and forth when it comes to delivering these chops. Towards the end of the match, after Jay White he's battered, man. Like, Kingston really did a number on him in this match. But Jay White got some offense in. He delivered his switchblade finish. But as soon as he hit the finish, Eddie Kingston slid out of the ring so Jay White couldn't cover him for the pin, which was a very smart move by Eddie Kingston. Just being how hard-hitting the match was, how strong style, everything. Jay White didn't go after him. He was just tired. He was spent, man. You can see it in this match. He was spent. Both guys were great in this match. And Kingston gets back in the ring, and then he just started unloading with the back fist, and then he delivered the Northern Suplex. It took him 2 to finish Jay White. The first one he delivered, he hit Jay White after a back fist. I believe after 2 back fists, he delivered the Northern Suplex, and Jay White kicked out. And it's rare that people kick out from the Northern Suplex from Eddie Kingston. But he kicked out of the first one. Eddie Kingston picked him back up, spit in his hand, hit him with another back fist, and then picked him up for another Northern Suplex. And he got the pin on Jay White. And Jay White has been officially done with Pro Wrestling. And after the match, Jay White was going to speak on a microphone. The fans were chanting for Jay White. They were chanting his name after the matchup. They was chanting, "Thank you, Jay White." Then he's going to speak on a microphone when David Finlay hits him with the shillelagh from behind. Cuts this promo on Jay White and the New Japan Pro Wrestling fans. This was an outstanding match to me. Like I said, this was the second best match of these 3 matches I have on this graphic here. Now, it's rumored that Jay White, I believe his contract is up in April or something like that. So it's getting more and more like he's heading towards WWE. AEW's in that bidding war too, but I think he want to make the most money at this point. I think AEW's too crowded. I think he'll fit right in if he goes to WWE. If I'm him, I'll probably sign like a 1-year deal just to see how everything goes. And if it don't go too well, then he can just leave. But I got a feeling under the new regime with Triple H still there, Triple H would do wonders with Jay White. If Vince McMahon was running this, it would be the worst spot to go. But now with Triple H running things on creative, this is a legit shot for Jay White to be a huge superstar. He can be a huge help for WWE. So the future is bright for Jay White, man. We only have 2 months. Maybe he'll appear the night after WrestleMania. We don't know. We don't know. He can have conversations with Triple H at this moment. We don't know. But I'm going to be keeping a close eye on Jay White. He's one of my favorite wrestlers in New Japan and the wrestling world in general. But go out of your way if you want to watch the pay-per-view. Watch this match. Great match. Very hard-hitting, strong style match. Harken to what New Japan Wrestling is all about. Alright guys, now I'm going to talk about what I deem the best match of all 3 of these matches on this graphic. And I'm going to say the best match tonight. We have the IWGP Women's Championship match between Kairi and Mercedes Mone. This was a great match. They went about at least 29 to 30 minutes. So they got ample time in this match. They did, and I think they worked a great match. It's Mercedes. This going probably doing Mercedes probably top 5 of her matches, maybe top 10, maybe just on the outside looking inside the top 5. But I enjoyed this match so much, bro. Great match, great showing by both ladies. Now, before I watched this match, I got home from work. I watched this documentary that Mercedes put out. If you want to watch it, it's on her YouTube channel. Just type in Mercedes Bernardo. It'll pop up right there, and you can watch it. It's a very, very good documentary. It's like a 20 to 25-minute documentary about her time leading up to Wrestle Kingdom. So her arrival there, her traveling the city. You get to see, she talks about the text messages she got from like Triple H, William Regal, and how so many people cared about her going to New Japan, and you get to see how much New Japan meant to her. How like making this trip and coming over to New Japan really means to her, and that so many people has her back. Like you get to see Trinity in this. For you guys who don't know who Trinity is, that's Naomi and WWE. You get to see Trinity in this documentary. She talks about Bayley, talks about William Regal, Triple H. You'll see her meeting Kenny Omega for the first time in years. You'll just see her meeting various people. Like, see, it's like a montage. You'll see like TJP, like people she know from WWE, like Carl Anderson, Tanahashi, Okada, stuff like that. You will see a lot of stuff behind the scenes when it comes. You see her getting her gear together for her debut, all this stuff. So it's a very good documentary. I definitely say go out of your way to watch it. I enjoyed the documentary, and that just made me want to watch the match even more. I'm always in Sasha Banks' corner, or Mercedes Mone now, in her corner. I want her to do great things, and she betting on herself. So what is there not to like? But let's get on to this match. This match was very, very good. This is one of the reasons you want to watch Battle in the Valley. So early in the match, Monet hit this springboard arm drag. I think you've seen her do it in WWE, but she quickly transitioned to her patented cross face finish, but Kairi got of it real quick. And then this led to both women going outside the ring. They was trading, like, running each other into a turnbuckle post outside. So they run it. Mercedes runs Kairi into the turnbuckle post, and they both are down. And they're milking the 20 count to the point where they almost don't make it. They beat the count just in time. And then Kairi had Mercedes tied to the top rope to the turnbuckles in the trio woe position. And she did the double stump from the top rope for a near fall. And then after this, Kairi hit this. She threw Mercedes to the ring. Iris whipped her and landed a back fist. That back fist looked awesome. And then she transitioned to an Alabama slam after that. Slightly after that, they did this spot where Kairi had Mercedes inside the ropes, like you know how Randy Orton do the apron DDT, kind of like that. But Mercedes had her feet on the middle rope, and Kairi runs to the other side of the ring like she's about to do like a drop kick or something, knock her out the ring. But Mercedes does this roll, and then she catches her with the Bayley to back suplex. Paying homage to Bayley, who was in the crowd, by the way, and she got a near fall on that. So I think that spot was pretty cool. Then right after that, the women are exchanging punches left and right, and then as Kairi goes to deliver an elbow, Mercedes pulls the ref in the ring, pulls the ref in the way, and he gets hit with the elbow. He's down, so there's a ref bump, and then Mercedes. And then Kairi goes crazy, starts beating Monet, and then gets her outside the ring. So they take the fight up to the stage. And Kairi goes to jump off the stage, but Monet catches her and then hits her head on like this box outside the ring. And then she pulls a table from underneath the ramp, sets it up. She's trying to deliver a suplex, but Kairi counters it, and she gets her up in a powerbomb position and powerbombs Monet through the table, and she started throwing her money on top of Monet's body, and then she gets her to the ring. Then Monet hits She hits the moneymaker, which is like a gory bomb into a face buster. The move she tried to do at Wrestle Kingdom, but it didn't work as well. But she hits her moneymaker finish for the win. She is now the new IWGP Women's World Champion. This is a great match by both women. I enjoyed this match so much. Mercedes even had her attire for this match was paying homage to Hanukkah Murr. Don't know her story, just look her up. But her gear was paying homage to her. This Battle of the Valley show is carried by these 3 matches. So if you enjoyed strong style wrestling, if you enjoy strong style matches, watch Battle of the Valley. If you enjoy Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Mone, get the Battle of the Valley show. Watch her match with Kairi. So this gonna lead me back to the end where I was talking about how Okada was talking about the Dream Team. So after that, Mercedes comes out at the end of the night, and she wants to take Okada up on his offer of building a Dream Team. And she says, Monet is all about the money, so ain't nobody more worth being on the Dream Team than her. They both pose at the end of the show to end Battle in the Valley, go off the air. So man, that was Battle in the Valley, led by 3 great matches. Best being Mercedes Mone versus Kairi. Then I go with Jay White and Eddie Kingston. Then I go with Kazuchika Okada and Hiroshi Tanahashi. That's the 3rd match in these 3 pillar matches for the show. Like I said, man, go ahead and order the show. It's only $20 on Fight TV. Can't go wrong. But I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you think about the show if you watched it in the comments down below. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below, so this content can reach other people such as yourself that enjoy wrestling like I do. And I will see you guys in the next video, man. I'm out.